Welcome to part two. We are here for a little bit more of an explanation about different bits of the body system and how it is organized. We're going to start out with some different types of tissues and then go to some system stuff. So if you need any of this or any types of refreshers, then please pay attention. And otherwise, tissue is the next level up from cell, so a variety of different types of tissues thrown together, you end up, a variety of types of cells thrown together, you get a tissue. There are four basic types of tissue. Epithelial tissue, which is on the outside of something. Epi means outside of. Thelia means the body, or, like the body. So epithelium is the outside of something, which weirdly enough, if you think about the human body, the portions that are on the outside are the outside, but then also your digestive tract, because your digestive tract is outside of your body, which is weird to think about, but you are a big meat sack with a tube running down the middle of you. If you've never thought about yourself that way, then yay, now you have. So if you think about that means the epithelial lining or the epithelial tissue is going to be on the outside, and then it's also going to be on your digestive tract and your airways. So that's all epithelium. It's taking it from you on one side to not you on the other. Generally, what it does is it is involved in protection, sensation, secretion, absorption, excretion, and diffusion. If you don't know what any of those different types of words are, then there are definitions in your book, or, once again, you can come and talk to me. Connective tissue is the next type of tissue. It tends to connect one thing to another, so epithelia to not epithelia. There's a variety of different types of this. It's extensive as to how you end up going through it. It's the most abundant and widespread type of tissue throughout your whole entire body. Key types of connective tissue are adipose tissue, which is fat, areolar tissue, which is just kind of stuff, and bones, ligaments, tendons, cartilage, a variety of different types of things that if you end up thinking about it, yes, that is most likely connective tissue. If it's not epithelial tissue, it's probably connective tissue. Oh, blood is also connective tissue. Muscle is not connective tissue, and it's not epithelial tissue. So that is the third major type of tissue inside of your body. It involves some sort of movement. There are three flavors of muscular tissue: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. Skeletal is voluntary. That's when you think about muscle, that's the muscle you're thinking about. So that would be like your biceps and your triceps, other fun things along those lines, and those actually have more to them than just bicep and tricep, because that's ambiguous, and why would it make sense to have only one muscle called something? Welcome to the human body. But generally, skeletal muscle is going to be that voluntary type of muscle when you're thinking about muscle. Smooth muscle is going to be lining walls of organs to make it so that the organs contract, going along your digestive tract, going along your blood vessels to make that so that things can move from one place to another or rebound and contract. To move things from one place to another. The final one, which may sound fairly similar to moving and contracting, but isn't, is the involuntary cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle is only found in the heart. It looks different from smooth muscle, which is why but it also has similar types of functions to a lot of smooth muscle. It's actually kind of like this awkward hybrid between skeletal muscle and smooth muscle. But either way, if you need help with any of this stuff, please come and talk to me, or shoot me an email, or something. Either way. Finally, there is nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is the type of stuff that you think of. It is contractile. Finally, there's nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is all about electrical movement. It has the property of excitability and conductivity, and it controls and coordinates all of the different activities in your body, ranging from movement that is voluntary. Ooh, look. to movement that is involuntary. So breathing and other things along those lines, digestion. So that is nervous tissue. So neurons and the brain are going to be what make up nervous tissue, and then some associated different types of cells as well. Just also for reference, this term is neuroglia. So there's a pause there. It's not neuroglia. It's neuroglia. Neuroglia. Okay. Multiple different types of tissues make up an organ, and multiple organs make up an organ system. So generally, if you have similar types of organs that all help with the same type of system, or same type of function, they're referred to as a system. So if you're thinking about digestion, all of the different types of organs that would be associated with digestion go into the digestive system. So that includes things like the stomach and the small intestine, the large intestine. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Involuntary. Ooh. So that's the difference between organs and organ systems. There are a variety of different types of organ systems. Here is a list of them. You can look at them and see what they actually do. Some of them are going to be very similar to each other. This is actually also the order that I would suggest going through all of these different types of organ systems in your book. Your book will end up talking about all of these different types of organ systems and separate them out into different types of terms. So from here on out, the videos that I end up producing for this will be much shorter than this one. This is probably going to be the longest video out of all of them. And they're going to kind of talk about a variety of smaller bits and highlight certain things. When we're talking about anything, as I said previously in the prefixes portion, everything is going to be in anatomical position. So if we're looking at our little dude over here, it is going to be that type of thing where your hand is down, you're in an erect body, your head is facing forward, your arms are at your side, and your palms are to the front. So this half of the body, anatomical position, this half not quite, because this arm... well, I can't turn it, which is unfortunate and vaguely irritating to me. But, you know, it is what it is. So, when you are using anatomical position, though, left and right refer to the patient's point of view, not the examiner's. So, if I am looking at something, if this creature is laying down like this, its right is on this side, its left is on that side. It is not, even if I was looking down at it and my left was on this side, right would be from the point of view of the patient, not of the practitioner. It's stage left, so to speak. So the same way that's, whatever, I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, major thing to understand. Directional and positional terms are all going to be in relationship to another. They're going to generally be looking at different types of things, and they're also very useful for pinpointing locations of signs and symptoms. There are a number of different types of planes, and when I say that, I mean the, like, this is a plane, not type of plane. So the sagittal plane is going to go... dividing from right to left sides. Mid-sagittal plane is right down the middle. Coronal plane, you can think about it as, so coronal means crown-like, which is where you get corona, that, like the coronavirus, it looks like it has a crown around it. The corona of the sun. It's a crown going around the sun. So if you think about the way that a crown would sit on somebody's head, boop, like that, that's the way that it ends up splitting you. It's also called the frontal plane because it separates the front from the back. Transverse is also called the horizontal plane, and that would be cutting something like this, like a hula hoop. So, coronal plane is also the plane that you end up doing jumping jacks on. The transverse plane is the plane that you do hula hooping on. Sagittal plane is the middle. This way. So, I mean, hypothetically, this is also sagittal plane. This is mid-sagittal. You can also have an oblique plane, which is at an awkward angle. There you go. Ooh, ah, beautiful pictures. There's a lot of different types of things that go on in your body. Your body has a lot of cavities. So, like I said before, you're kind of like a big giant sack of water and protein. But that sack also has some hollow spaces so that you can shove some organs in there. There are two general primary body cavities. The ventral or the anterior cavity is in the front. The back or the posterior or the dorsal cavity is on the back. If you happen to end up going into different types of other creatures, so like dogs and cats, there are you will still see things as dorsal ventral. So dorsal meaning back. So like sharks have a dorsal fin. Um, okay, they also have some ventral fins, but either way. So dorsal meaning back. Ventral meaning front. You may also see rostral caudal. Rostral meaning nose, caudal meaning tail. So because it's a little bit different because you can't put things into anatomic position. So that's a completely aside note, and I can't remember if it's actually in your book or not, but it's something to know. The different spaces. Here are body cavities. There's the thoracic cavity, which is in the thorax, abdominal cavity, which is in the abdomen, pelvic cavity, which is in the pelvis. Woo. Good times. A couple other different categories of cavities. Cranial cavity. You can read through this. I'm not going to keep on going. Spinal cavity and the cranial cavity are the two dorsal cavities. The abdomen and the pelvis can be combined into the abdominopelvic cavity. It is part of the ventral cavity. That's where most of your organs live. There are 9 regions of the abdomen and pelvic area. I will show those in a little bit because you can also split it up into 4. So the abdomen itself can be divided into 4 different regions called quadrants, and they're used for descriptive and diagnostic purposes. So depending on if you have a burst appendix, then it's going to show up in your right lower quadrant. So normally your right lower quadrant is down here. That's where your appendix lives. So here's your small intestines go bloop, 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 and then into this. Your appendix normally hangs out right there. But weirdly enough, there's also about 17% of the population where you have a switch in the orientation of your organs. So you might have pain over here. Speaking of, if you end up having a super sharp pain in that general region, the easiest way to figure it out is by finding your belly button or your navel and finding your hip bone, going like this, putting your finger out in between. If there's pain right there between your belly button and your hip bone, then that generally means that you have a burst appendix or appendicitis. The more you know. We can also split that same exact thing into 9 regions of the abdominopelvic cavity, ranging from the top to the bottom to the middle. It's actually using general other portions of the body to describe what things are and where they are. The trunk is the torso or the central part of the human body that does not include the head, arms, and legs. It also includes it includes the chest, the back, the shoulders, and the abdomen. It's also essentially where the vertebral column is going to be for a good chunk of it. So that's generally how different portions are referred to, either the thorax or the lumbar regions of the vertebral column. Most of the organs live in the trunk, as do a large number of muscles. Here's more stuff. When you are looking at the human body, it's probably easiest to determine everything going from head to toe. And there's a variety of different types of terminology that can be associated with that. So as you're going through, try to think of each term and then identify it using regular terms and not regular terms. Or if you really want to, make post-it notes, stick them onto a friend, and see where those post-it notes are. Um, Here are a variety of different types of terms that you might end up coming into. And some more terms. Once again, if you have any types of questions, I know that I said it over and over and over again, but I'm going to say it again. Please, please, please come and talk to me. Uh, I am here to help you. So just look at my Just Ask calendar, shoot me an email. Anything else, I can Zoom with you, I can chat with you, well, in person. But otherwise, just please come out and talk to me. See you later.